Welcome to this episode of Tu Soka.
Two sisters of a certain age, conversations with a therapist and a doctor. I'm Judy Grant, licensed marriage and family therapist.
And I'm Dr. Sophia Grant, board certified pediatrician and child abuse doctor.
And we are just so excited to be with you today and to share a little bit something special, kind of get us in the mood for the holidays and really talk about what the holiday season looks like for us in our homes, with our families, with our children, and just to kind of enjoy the holiday mood with everybody out there.
So, I just offered Judy a piece of cake because I baked last night. I also made some curry goat and some rice. And what did you say to my cake?
No, I couldn't. I couldn't have any more frickin' cake. I was eating so much cake over Thanksgiving. Candy's coconut cake is ridiculous. But then she has some crazy chocolate cake concoction, which
The thing is, I can't take credit for that chocolate. They call it the chocolate poke cake, Bailey's Irish cream chocolate poke cake. Because you know how you're on Facebook and these recipes will pop up and you're like, oh, that looks good. And I downloaded the recipe and I made the cake. And then our brother Steve went crazy for the cake. Now, Steve is not a big eater at all, but he loves this cake. So I made two cakes, one for the Gen Pop, all of us, and then Steve got his own cake, and then Judy tasted it. Was this the first time you had it?
No, I think this was the second time I had stupid chocolate cake.
But it's ridiculous. So I think we should probably put the recipe on the website, and then I'll put the coconut recipe on the website.
Oh, yeah. And believe me, if you attempt to make these, you'll be very pleased, as will all of your guests.
Now, the thing about the coconut cake, Judy, is I made it and it was like there were some cupcakes in your fridge.
Oh, for weeks. And there I was eating like this hardened cake, crispy. But I didn't have the heart to just toss it. So
yeah, I don't blame you.
That was total gluttony.
It was really good.
So, Candy, what do the holidays mean to you?
Well, for me, it just means family. And of course, I have the children that I birthed, but it also means extended family, you, nieces and nephews, mommy, siblings, and anybody else who wants to come to the grand house.
And we usually have people coming into the house.
Yeah, sure. It's just such a special time to me. And also, in Jamaica, we make fruitcake for Christmas, and Mommy has, over the years, taught me how to make fruitcake. And that is, you have to soak the fruit for months, and then you have to grate, orange rind that you have to add to it. Then you make your breadcrumbs. I mean, it's such a huge process. I remember when I first decided that I wanted to make it, none of my mixing bowls were big enough. So I had to go to Lowe's and get a big bowl. I don't know what they use it for, but it could be like a potting or I don't know, but it's huge. And, you have to add the eggs, butter, cream, all of that stuff to it. And now Grandma wants to show Yaya how to make that cake. So I'm going to make that happen this year.
Yeah, it's fun to pass down those traditional Jamaican holiday activities and foods. Another of our favorite holiday items is sorrel, which is the hibiscus flower that is brewed down to make a tea of sorts, but then it's sweetened
with a lot of sugar.
And that's what my mother would call the Christian version. And the non-Christian version is sweetened with the sugar with rum.
Yeah, and then ginger always goes into that, but I don't really like ginger that much. So mommy will make sorrel without any ginger just for me, and I don't like rum, so I'll be a Christian when it comes to the sorrel.
But those are just two examples of some of the holiday dishes that we always have at Christmas time. But when I was thinking of the holidays and what it means to us, I can't help but have memories of a child where mommy would be cooking, and 25, 30, 35 people would descend upon our house for a Thanksgiving, a Christmas, a New Year's, a Christmas Eve. And people would just gather and feast. And she would do all of it.
Yeah. Poor mommy can't do all that cooking.
But she still manages.
As much as she used to.
Go and make one pot of rice and peas. And
maybe some soup. Maybe me go and fry some fish.
I'm going to fry some fish for each one of my grandchildren, you see. Each one of them going to have them own.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's really comforting just to have that. And, as we've watched mommy grow older, it makes me sad that she can't do what she used to do anymore. And one time I had something, I don't know what it was, an event. Oh, it was Yaya's graduation party. And this was like at 2:00 in the afternoon. And mommy shows up at the house at 8:00 in the morning. Mommy, what are you doing here? I want to feel useful. So she made herself busy. I don't know what she was doing, but I have to tell her, Mommy, I got this under control. So sometimes I will actually trick her and pre-cook so that when she comes, she doesn't really have much to do.
Yeah, but it's hard to see her slowing down, but I know how much joy she gets from watching you and I host these events.
Right.
I will set my table with my crystal, with my china, with my silver, with a tablecloth that no doubt mommy was the one who gave it to me.
Right.
And she will come to the house and she will look at the table, and she said to me how proud it makes her just to see that we know how to set a table.
Right. It makes her feel like she raised us right.
Yes, absolutely.
Like
absolutely.
We're not animals.
Right. Yeah. So I definitely make an effort to put a really nice table together, knowing that my mother will enjoy it. And knowing just that.
And if you don't, she will judge you.
Candy, why you put this on the table?
I know. Oh my, Candy, you can't use better glass than this.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So it's really a lovely time, and it feeds your soul.
Right. Now I started to get food together for Christmas dinner. I am going to, we rotate houses between my house and Judy's house. Mommy's house has been taken out of the rotation. But this year we're going to be having oxtail and stew peas. So oxtail, which is literally the tail of the cow, it's not an ox, but is now like a delicacy. I've seen it for up to $11.99 a pound. But then a few weeks ago, I was at Costco, and lo and behold, it was $7.99 a pound. So I bought up a bunch of oxtail, threw it in the freezer, and I think I have enough. We're probably going to have about 24 people. And then for the stew peas, I am going to be using the ham bone from Thanksgiving to make the stew peas. I might actually buy another ham just to have.
I think we're probably need.
Yeah. And, sometimes Christmas, I just want to be in my pajamas, and a few years I'm like, let's get some Chinese food. Let's let's just have it low key. And the kids are so disgusted. My kids were telling me how disgusted they were when, like, I had Chinese food because I didn't want to do anything. And so now I know that Christmas has to be a thing, just as Thanksgiving has to be a thing.
Maya was telling me the other day that she talks to her friends about, oh, what are you doing for Thanksgiving? What do you cook? And her friends will say, we'll have a turkey and mashed potato and a side of green beans. And Maya says, what else are you having? I'm like, no, that's about it. We'll have some pie. And they said, Maya, what do you have? We have the turkey, we have the ham, we have the fried fish, we have the salmon, we have the mashed potatoes, the green beans, the macaroni and cheese. The list goes on and on. It's a little extravagant.
Well, I mean, I think just like with any ethnic group, we always overdo it on the food. My friend Debbie, who's Jewish, told me once she hosted Thanksgiving and there was one dessert per person, not like a miniature, but like one pie, one cake, one this, one this, one this. And I think food is just causes people to come together, and it's so welcoming, and it's a joyful event, and it kind of celebrates abundance. So I'm sure, Armenian people and Persian people, I'm sure there's tons of food.
Yeah. Yeah. We definitely like to combine both the American items and the Jamaican. So we always have both.
What American thing did we have?
Turkey.
Turkey, but we didn't have turkey this year, remember?
Well, Jean made the turkey.
Yeah,
she just kept that at home.
Yeah. You know what? We joke that our brother Rupi, he was born in America. He's a Yankee, and he's the only one who wanted the damn turkey.
So his wife Jean made him the turkey.
And kept it at home, and nobody missed it.
So when we think about rolling into the Christmas season, of course, the decorations come out inside the house, outside the house. The gifts are purchased, et cetera, et cetera. The trees are up. But we also recognize that it's not purely this commercial event and activity in our homes. There is, the religious component that we absolutely celebrate as we get into Christmas and get into the spirit of Christmas. And there have been Christmas Eves, Christmas days where we're reading from the Bible, the birth story.
Right.
Where we're singing hymns, Christmas hymns.
And when the kids were taking piano, I think somebody brought a keyboard to the house, and Boogie was playing Carol of the Bells and leaning into it, really getting into it. But when the kids were small, what I did is on Christmas Eve, we made a birthday cake, and we would read the Christmas story on Christmas morning. It was the child who was literate, whoever was literate first. So then it was Haley read to her siblings, Boogie read to everybody, and then Yaya read, and we would sing happy birthday to baby Jesus, and then we would open gifts. But something that I did with my kids is we never told them about Santa Claus. We never talked about Santa Claus. I told my kids that we give gifts to celebrate the birth of baby Jesus, because I didn't want my kids to believe that something magical, like some man with all this money is going to come into the house and give gifts, and then have my kids request things that were so over the top. So they always knew it came from me and their father. But what would happen is when we would share Christmas with the cousins.
It was a different story in my house.
The cousins.
Hold on. I got the story.
Okay, all right. What's the story?
Okay, so this is many, many years ago. I'm driving. I've got Haley and Zachary, Candy's two, and my one, Maxine, in the car. They're all in the back seat, in car seats. And it's summertime, and somehow we start talking about Christmas. And Maxine, my eldest, is talking about Santa Claus because in our house, we believe. And so Maxine is talking about Santa Claus to her cousins. And Zachary, leans forward. Aunt Judy, doesn't she know that there is no Santa Claus? And he, in this whispered voice, because he didn't really want to give it away.
I'm so glad he didn't.
He didn't want to give it away just in case. And I told him, I said, Zachary, in our house, we believe. And he's like, okay. And he totally understood that and sat back in his chair. And we proceeded to have Santa Claus in our home. And Candy proceeded to have gifts to celebrate baby Jesus. But it's nice that we can look at these things differently and respect each other's way of celebrating these things and embracing both of them.
Right. Let me see. We did celebrate the Tooth Fairy. That was the only magical thing we celebrated in the house because I didn't want to commercialize Jesus' birthday or Easter Bunny or any of that stuff. But yeah, we did celebrate the Tooth Fairy. I was okay with that.
So in our house, my husband is a bit of a Clark Griswold and will find the biggest Christmas tree he can in the Christmas tree lot and brings it into the house, and we have to pull out the ladder to decorate it because the thing is so enormous.
And now your house has really high, 13 feet?
Oh, it's so high. I don't know what he's going to do this year. They can barely fit on the top of the cars.
Right.
But it's one of those things that
you have to rent a Winnebago. Yeah. To put it on top.
But honestly, when we go Christmas tree shopping, and, you're looking at these 6-foot, 7-foot trees. The children are like, nope. And of course, Rick is leading the way, looking for the biggest one. And Maya ends up usually picking out a Christmas tree. And then it's a whole other thing to get it into the house and to get it decorated. But it's what we do.
You know what? For years, I had a live tree. And then when I had the kids, I just became so scared of house fires. And being a pediatrician, I'm just so ridiculously cautious that I didn't feel comfortable having lights on a tree. And so now I have a lovely fig tree. And we decorate typically maybe the day after Thanksgiving or the Saturday after Thanksgiving is when we decorate the house, and then we take the decorations down on New Year's Day. That's our ritual. And it's so funny because the house seems so empty when you take down the decorations.
It's always a sad
day. It just feels kind of empty and just kind of lackluster.
Well, when the day after Thanksgiving, I immediately break out my Spode Christmas china.
It's fancy pants.
It's very fancy. And it's not something that I've always done, but I'd like to say in the last 6 or so years, I discovered Spode, and it has this sweet little Christmas tree, on it, and I've gotten my plates, my
Where
bowls,
do you get
my
it?
Glasses. Oh, Amazon has all things Spode.
Oh, okay. Because I'm like a TJ Maxx girl. Do they have it there?
Yes, you will find Spode pieces in a TJ Maxx, a Marshalls, a Burlington. Mm-hmm. But I always end up getting something because I like during the season going in, getting the dinner plates out, and they're all Christmassy. It just makes it even that much more warm and comforting to me.
Yeah, maybe I'll have to borrow yours for Christmas dinner. Let me tell you what I do. And this has nothing to do with Christmas, but when I have a bunch of people at the house, I have my good china, but I don't have 25 of place settings for my good china. At the 99-cent store, they will have white plates.
Oh, yeah.
And I will have like 25 white plates, and I'll set my table, and it looks absolutely lovely with all the other festive things that you have going on around the table and in the house. So that's a little tip that I learned years ago.
Yeah, you can keep your table eclectic. It doesn't all have to match. So I have those same white plates that I'll intertwine with my Christmas dishes, my china, just to make it festive.
Right. And those white plates, you can wash them in the dishwasher, whereas my good china, it's all hand washed.
No microwave,
like
no dishwasher.
What was I thinking?
I don't know.
Yeah. So that's a little tip.
Yeah. And then, when it comes to our holiday dinners, before we, jump in and start our meal, what do we do, Candy?
We say grace, and
who says grace, Candy?
Mommy says grace, and
she loves it.
I know she loves it.
Oh, Mommy, we going to say grace?
I know she acts like she's never done it before. Like, why are you calling on you? Oh, I'm not prepared. Oh, I didn't have. And then gracious and most merciful Father.
And she rolls into it like she had written the script weeks before.
Right. So
I think that's
and we hold hands. And then after grace is done, I always do a hand squeeze for the people whose hands I'm holding.
I don't think I've thought of that, but I think I do the same thing.
It's just like a little squeeze after.
Yeah. So, at the holidays too, when we're all here and we've got all of the 8 grandchildren, we end up playing some ridiculous game, which ends up with screams of laughter, and tears just streaming down our faces.
Yeah, that's really nice. And I remember, when I first moved back to California, and I think I hosted Thanksgiving, and nobody wanted to leave. Like, did people sleep over for like a few days?
I'm sure.
Thursday through Sunday.
Yes.
You guys had to come back.
Come back to pick up my children
and then
from Mount
maybe
Kansas.
like on the 3rd day, I'm like, has anyone bathed?
No.
It's just like this recklessness, and you're sleeping, you're eating, you're playing in the same clothes. Yeah,
and it's all of the grandchildren, and what's super, I don't know, it's just a beautiful thing to see. The age difference between all of the kids is 10 years, from Haley, the eldest, to Grayson, the youngest. But they all get along so well. They love each other dearly.
Yeah.
They play hard regardless of their age from now for the rest of their lives. The big 8 really makes the holidays so special for me when I see them all together.
Yeah, and let's talk about the gift exchange that they do.
Yeah.
Before, I used to buy 5 gifts for my nieces and nephews, and that got to be pretty expensive.
It did. So our children decided that they would do a gift exchange with each other. So they randomly choose, I forget how the process is. It's up to them. But they
usually done at Thanksgiving.
Yes, and they randomly choose who they're going to buy for. Did you know that Zachary, I believe, created some site somewhere where they can log in and create wish lists and put, I didn't realize it had gotten so sophisticated.
Yeah.
The gift exchange.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. And then they get something more curated for them rather than an auntie gift. And I think it means a lot.
Yeah, especially, to know that your cousin went out and got this, and, really sees you wanting this and loving this new gift.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is very cool. That's very cool. Christmas and Thanksgiving, it's just a good time. Oh, and hold on, let's not forget, we've got 3 birthdays in the month of December. Haley, December 17th. Maxine, December 18th. My husband, Rick, December 31st.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to celebrate in our family, and it's always such a lovely time of year for us.
I agree.
We wish each and every one of you just a glorious holiday season. If you're with family, if you're with friends, know that we're thinking about you. We wish you warmth. We wish you comfort. We wish you the best of everything for 2023.
Happiness and health. I mean, health is so very important and we take it for granted. But I just want you all to be healthy in your mind and your body. And, hopefully also just abundant happiness. It's such a treasure. We talk about gifts and material things, but there's like, I hope for all of you, you'll have a sense of contentment and joy in where you are in your life and what you're doing and who you're surrounded by. So be well in 2023. And that's the wish from the Two Soka team. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Happy holidays to all of you. And we will be back in 2023.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Two Soka. We ask that you like, comment, share, and follow. And don't forget to reach out to us at our email, twosokapodcast@gmail.com.
And remember, if you are celebrating the holidays, if your loved ones are close, if you're eating the deliciousness of a Christmas, a Hanukkah, a Kwanzaa, a Thanksgiving feast, please know we can relate.
No Longer Network.